I paid $22,000 for their wedding, then they told me my wife wasn't invited. So I stayed home. The cake showed up instead. 143 missed calls later, I knew it worked. They told me not to bring my wife to the wedding I paid for. 5 words. No greeting, no context, no shame. Please come without your wife. It landed like a thrown glass, sharp and careless. Just hanging there in the family group chat next to emojis and brunch plans like it wasn't a nuke in the middle of my living room. Like they hadn't been smiling in her face last week, hugging her tight and fake laughing through gritted teeth. I read it once, twice, 3 times. Thought maybe Siri had glitched out and sent me a rogue message from the void. Nope, it was real. No typo, no autocorrect accident. Just intentional silence soaked in arrogance. I set the phone down gently on the counter. No dramatics, no rage. My hands didn't even shake. It was a kind of still that feels like being underwater, like the pressure of everything finally got so loud it went quiet. Tash walked in from the hallway with a mug of licorice tea and sleepy eyes. She saw my face and stopped mid-sip. You look like someone killed your dog. I handed her the phone. She read it. 1 blink. 2. Her jaw didn't drop. No wide-eyed meltdown. Just that slow internal shutdown I'd seen exactly 3 times before, once when her dad ghosted her at her grad show, once when her old boss took credit for her non-profit pitch, and once when she found her childhood diary in her mom's garage, cover torn, pages scribbled over with a red Sharpie that read "too much attitude." Well, she said after a beat. Guess they finally got brave enough to write it out. I nodded. What are you gonna do? She asked, voice like glass. I opened the group chat, Mira plus Dev's wedding heartsuit team dreamers. Scrolled past flower inspo. Scrolled past OMG we hit 10k followers. Scrolled past the PDF I paid $600 for that outlined the flow of Myra's big day. Found the message. Tapped leave chat. Exactly what they asked, I said. I'm not bringing you. Her eyes flicked up. You're still going? No, I said. We're not. She stared at me for a second, then nodded, slow and tight. I knew it would come to this. I just didn't think they'd write it out like a grocery list. Neither did I. Here's what no one talks about. Betrayal rarely screams. It doesn't slap or stab. It whispers, smooth and sterile, like a medical email about a cancelled appointment. Like, please come without your wife. Like Tash didn't exist. Like she was some accidental line item in my budget. For months I was the open wallet with the mute button on. Every vendor meeting was a guilt trip. Every price tag ended with, but it's the only time I'll get married. Dev called me once just to say, bro, Myra's crying over the champagne fountains. Can you front the deposit? And my parents? Oh, they leaned in hard. You've always been the reliable one. It's your cousin. She never asks for help. Myra's delicate. Be the bigger person. Translation, pay up and shut up. So I did. Venue? Me. Dress steamer? Me. Cake? Definitely me. 7-tier monstrosity with imported Japanese cherry blossoms and edible gold dust. The kind of cake that needs its own zip code and legally requires its own insurance. And then they told me Tash wasn't welcome. My wife. My partner. The only one who ever told me maybe don't let your cousin bully you into funding her Pinterest psychosis. Why? Because she doesn't giggle at Myra's passive-aggressive jabs. Because she asked Dev at one dinner, do you actually love Mira or is this a hostage situation? Because she wears thrifted jumpsuits and doesn't apologize for existing in a room without being decorative. And yet, she didn't yell, didn't cry, just stood there, phone still lit up, jaw squared. I knew you'd pick me, she whispered. Still hurts. Yeah, I said. So that's it? We'll stay home. Then I smirked. But I'm still contributing to the wedding. She blinked. You already gave them 22 grand. I did, I said. But there's one thing I adjusted. The wedding happened. Oh, it happened like a fever dream curated by a deranged influencer. All cream tones and drone footage. Mira in a designer gown 3 stylists had to escort like a hostage. Dev looking like he was trying not to piss himself. Guests dressed like failed cast members from a Hallmark fantasy wedding special. There was a live harpist playing Billie Eilish covers. A fog machine. Flower boys on unicycles. A hashtag projected onto a wall made entirely of sugar crystals. My parents looked like they'd adopted the Queen of England and married her off to an accountant. And then, the cake. My cake. Rolled in on a gold-trimmed cart, guarded like it contained national secrets. Guests clapped, phones out, Mira beaming, Dev fake smiling like his jaw was duct-taped, Aunt Kavita already crying from the stress of joy. Then it happened. A slight whirring sound. A subtle tremor. The top tier tilted. A trapdoor snapped open, and out came a miniature marching band made of edible fondant. And they were playing Single Ladies. Yes, Beyoncé. on tiny edible trumpets. Then came the automated voice, custom programmed by me. Congratulations Mira and Dev, sponsored by the Bank of Suckers. This cake is the most expensive metaphor ever built. Enjoy your day. You paid nothing for it, but it cost everything. The edible sparklers lit. The fondant flutes exploded into glitter. The top tier collapsed on the third. I watched it all on my couch, bourbon in hand. 143 missed calls. From Mira, from Dev, from my mom. Even Uncle Hari, who hasn't called me since 2007 when I said I didn't believe in astrology. I didn't answer a single one. I poured Tash a drink, clinked our glasses. To the bride, I said. To the budget, she replied. We laughed, checked my banking app. Yup, $22,480. Didn't include the last-minute fondant refund, or the $350 creative sabotage fee I tipped the bakery assistant for not asking questions. As I sipped, something twisted in my gut, not anger, not regret, just realization. How easy it had been for them to take, not ask, take. It started years ago. Not with a cake, not with a wedding, with a phone call from Dad when I was 22 and had my first real job. You're the stable one, Ravi. We just need a little help. Stable meant babysitter. Banker. IT guy. Emotional punching bag. Mira was the sensitive one, which meant manipulative. Passive aggressive. High functioning damsel. Anytime she failed, I fixed it. She opened an online crochet store? I built her Shopify site. She crashed a car texting her ex? I paid the deductible. She wanted a self-care sabbatical in Iceland? I booked the flights. And every time she flopped, they acted like she was a phoenix and I was the emotional scaffolding. Tash saw it all. They don't respect you, she told me once, when Mira Venmo'd me $400 with a note that said, just a little emergency smiling face. I shrugged. It's family. She looked at me like I'd said the moon was made of spaghetti. It's not family when you're the only one bleeding. She wasn't wrong, but she was patient. So patient. Smiled through every dinner where my mom complimented her for not being too flashy. Smiled when Mira said, it's so cute how you don't care about status. Held my hand under the table when Dad made his 100th speech about how Ravi's the glue, but Myra's the soul. She didn't lash out, didn't snap, never gave them the ammo they wanted, so they got creative. When the wedding planning started, I was accidentally excluded from most convos. When I asked why I was footing a bill for $1,200 worth of cocktail shrimp, Mira texted, oops. We figured you were busy with work. We just made a few quick decisions. Quick decisions. That cost me 4 months' rent. 3 weeks before the wedding. Dinner at my parents'. I brought a bottle of wine. Tash brought Mira a silk robe from a boutique she once loved. Peace offering, maybe? Mira opened it, smiled thinly. Oh, I already have 2 of these. But okay. Then leaned in and said, just loud enough for Tash to hear. At least you're good for something, I guess. Tash went still. Wine glass paused halfway to her lips. She didn't say a word. I did. I stood up, napkin in hand. My mom blinked. Where are you going? Out, I said. Out where? Out of this F*** king circus. Mira wasn't sensitive. That was the branding. The family's PR spin. What she really was. Manipulative. Professional victim. Black belt in crocodile tears. Crisis cosplayer with an audience addiction. She wore dysfunction like it was a tiara. Knew how to turn a paper cut into a Greek tragedy if the right people were watching. And somehow, she always found herself in front of a camera, a dinner table, or a sympathetic audience the second it happened. And me? I was the stable one, said with that proud but passive tone, like being emotionally repressed was some Olympic medal. Myra's just not built like you, Dad used to say. As if we were IKEA furniture with different assembly manuals. Right. Mira was emotional. Emotional like. The time she crashed her brand new Audi texting her yoga instructor, then told the insurance company it was caused by a rogue gust of wind. The time she got fired for creative differences at that startup, Reed, wine bar that sold poetry slams on Tuesdays, and I covered her rent for 4 months so she could heal through vintage crystal energy alignment. The time she started her business, hand-glued wine glasses with phrases like empowered AF, sold under the Etsy name Glass Ceiling Goddess. Guess who bought the domain? Paid the Shopify subscription? Bought her first 60 units of inventory and spent a Saturday afternoon printing her Canva design thank you inserts? Yep, me. Every time she failed, I was the net. And every time I caught her, she jumped higher. No lessons. just higher stakes and bigger demands. Tash saw it all. From day one. They don't respect you, she told me once after Mira had sent me a Venmo request labeled Tiny Baby Emergency Pleading Phase for $275. It's fine, I said, like a dumb Hallmark husband. She's family, not a big deal. Tash stared at me like I'd said I was investing in NFTs again. It's never a big deal, she replied, until you wake up broke, and alone, and still paying off someone else's fire. She wasn't wrong. But she was patient. Too patient. Like, sainthood-level patient. She smiled through every dinner where my mom asked if she had considered a more feminine haircut. She nodded politely through Myra's "It's so nice that Ravi doesn't care about looks." She even laughed along when my dad made another epic toast about how Mira carries the family's emotional legacy. She held my hand under every table. She never cracked. Never exploded. Never gave them the meltdown they were baiting her for. So they got smarter, subtler. They stopped attacking directly and started cutting her out of the frame. Wedding planning began. Or rather, they began. I wasn't involved, just occasionally CC'd on Google Docs and emergency Venmo requests. I got texts like, "We figured you were swamped at work, so we just made a few executive decisions towards." Executive decisions like, * champagne fountains, * fire dancers for the after party, * a 7-tier cake with edible orchids flown in from Kyoto, each petal kissed with artisanal mist. And guess who paid? Right, me. Every single time. I should have seen it coming. I didn't. Not until the night they handed us the final seating chart and Tash's name was simply missing. No explanation. Just gone. I was the walking ATM they needed. Tash was the problem they deleted. But I kept it together. Until I didn't. 3 weeks before the wedding. Dinner at my parents' house. The usual performance. Tash and I arrived with a $40 bottle of Pinot and a hand-embroidered silk robe from Myra's favorite boutique. A peace offering. A hey, maybe we don't completely hate you gesture. Mira opened it, blinked once. "Oh," she said. "Thanks. I already have 2 of these. But, okay." Then she leaned in, too close, her voice sugar-poisoned. "At least you're good for something, I guess." Tash heard it. I felt her fingers twitch around the wineglass, but she didn't move, didn't blink. I did. I stood up. Fork clinked. Napkin down. Chair screeched. "Excuse me, where are you going?" my mother asked, like I just declared I believed in aliens. Out. Out where? Out of this damn simulation. I walked out the front door, sat in my car for an hour. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my office, surrounded by silence, receipts, rage, and a folder on my desktop titled Wedding_Hell. Receipts, quotes, invoices. One file stood out, cakedesign_mirafinal.psd. Subject line, absolutely final, no changes. Message, make sure this is confirmed by Friday. And please, no surprises. I want this cake to be timeless. Soft ivory, gold trim, sugar roses, subtle elegance. Think Meghan Markle meets Versailles. I stared at it. Then I picked up the phone and called the bakery. They picked up on the second ring. "Hi," I said calmly. "I need to make a small change to an existing order." I didn't tell Tash. Not yet. Not until the night before the wedding, when she caught me smirking into my bourbon like I had just committed arson and gotten away with it. "What did you do?" she asked. I raised an eyebrow. "Who says I did anything?" "You only smile like that when you're hiding fire," she said. I kissed her forehead. "Let's just say, tomorrow's dessert will be unforgettable." The day of. The ballroom looked like Pinterest and Instagram had a love child on meth. Myra's dress sparkled like it was made from diamond dust and delusion. Dev looked like he'd lost a bet. My parents were beaming like they'd been knighted. Everything was perfect. So perfect it felt wrong. Then, the MC. "Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. Mira and Dev's wedding cake." Applause. Gasps. Phones everywhere. Mira clutched her hands like a child at Disneyland. Lights dimmed. Music swelled, a dreamy acoustic cover of Can't Help Falling in Love. Fog machines. Spotlights. Then the golden cart rolled in. The cake, 8 feet tall. Rotating. Glowing. Holy. Then, a faint whirring. The cake trembled. A mechanical click. The top tier split open. Out popped a fondant ballerina clown, holding a scroll. She turned to the crowd, robotic and flawless. This cake was paid for by Ravi Kapoor. He was told not to bring his wife. So instead, he brought the drama. Gasps. "In lieu of a thank you card, please enjoy this limited edition passive-aggressive pastry. Sparklers ignited. Sugar roses exploded into edible confetti. The clown's eyes glowed red. The cake began to spin faster. The ballerina twirled once, then collapsed into the third tier like a martyr. Dead silence. Mira screamed. Dev recoiled. The harpist dropped her instrument. Someone fainted. I watched it all from my couch. 143 missed calls. I didn't answer a single one. Tash and I sat on the floor, eating microwave popcorn, watching it go viral. You really put a clown in the cake, she whispered. Technically, I said, it was a sugar-based mechanical art installation. You're insane. That cake cost me $3,500. I wanted it to say something. Actual fog. Like, horror movie fog. Dry ice slithered across the ballroom floor as if the underworld itself had RSVP'd. From behind the velvet doors came two tuxedoed servers wheeling out the piece de resistance, the infamous cake. 3 tiers of sugary insanity. Gold filigree. Ivory roses. The letters M and D in sugar pearls so delicate they looked photoshopped. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Polite applause. One woman near the back actually said, "Oh my god," like she just saw a unicorn give birth. Even Dev looked impressed, which, for him, meant blinking more than once. Mira? She glowed, like she was absorbing moonlight. The cake rolled into center stage. Spotlights hit it like it was a contestant on America's Next Top Pastry. The MC's voice boomed, gleaming with forced enthusiasm. Let's hear it for this masterpiece. The room clapped like they'd rehearsed. Mira clutched Dev's hand, took the knife. Her smile was big enough to be visible from space. She stepped forward in slow motion. Cue the violins. This was her moment, the pinnacle of her perfectly manicured life. Then, crack, a sharp, clean break. Not loud, just wrong. The middle tier split like an earthquake. Then boom, the top tier collapsed sideways. Pop, a figure launched out of the cake. Not a dancer. Not a server. A clown in a wedding dress, full veil, smeared lipstick, red nose, white gloves, a sign laminated and pinned to her chest. Miss Perfect. The room froze. Then boing, 2 rubber chickens shot from opposite sides of the cake, bouncing through the air like inflatable nightmares, flapping and spinning like possessed dollar store spirits. The clown struck a Broadway pose. Arms wide. Then bowed deeply. Then blew a cloud of white feathers from a cake bouquet wrapped in a pink ribbon that read, Zilla Special. Mira's jaw unhinged. Dev actually backed away like the clown was radioactive. The guests? A mix of laughter, shock, and iPhones trembling in slow motion awe. And then, because of course, the clown had a mic, she plucked it from somewhere deep in the cake like it was her sword in the stone. Special delivery for the bride, she cooed in the sweetest Disney princess voice imaginable. The show must go on. The room erupted at screams, confused laughter, a guy in a velvet suit whispering, "Wait, is this part of it?" Mira didn't move. Dev stepped way back. My mom started rushing forward like she was going to tackle the clown. "Get out of here. This is a wedding, not a circus." The clown waved cheerfully. "Oh honey," she said, "this is the circus. You're just late to the tent." Then she turned to Mira, bowed again. And whispered loud enough for everyone in the first 10 rows to hear. "You ordered perfection. We brought the reflection." Mira screamed, "Get her out. This isn't funny." Who did this? But the clown was already moonwalking. Through the fog. Toward the exit. Like some tragicomic Beyoncé leaving the stage after her final act. Just before disappearing into the mist, she paused, turned to the nearest phone camera, winked wide and read in messy, "Bye Mira. You're the star now." And then poof, she was gone. Somewhere online, at that very moment, a hashtag was born. Hashtag clowncake, hashtag Zilladition, hashtag Hohierder. It was trending by midnight. I didn't even have to turn on the news. Tash showed me everything. TikToks. Livestreams. Reddit posts titled "Clown Ruins Wedding or Improves It." One guy posted a 4K slow mo of the chicken launch with orchestral music underneath. Another just captioned it, "This is art. Install this at the Louvre." Tash nearly choked on her wine watching it. When the chickens flew, she fell off the couch. When the feathers hit the chandelier and floated like doves from hell, she wiped away a tear. "You're an absolute artist," she whispered. I raised my glass. "Happy wedding day, Mira." The day after. Too quiet. I woke up to soft light across the floor. The smell of Tash's coffee drifting in. For half a second it felt like a normal Sunday. Then I checked my phone. 143 missed calls. Group chats renamed to things like, "This isn't funny." "You went too far." "You're dead to us." Voicemails from mom, from Mira, from relatives who'd ghosted me since 2014. Texts that read, "How could you do this to your own sister?" "That cruel prank of yours wrecked everything." "You humiliated our family." "Mira hasn't eaten. Hope you're happy, clown boy." I scrolled, sipped my coffee. Tash walked in, robe loose, hair messy. "I still fought you with sleep." "Anything fun this morning?" she asked. I handed her the phone. She read a few texts. Smiled. Wow, she said. You really broke them. That afternoon, a knock. Not polite, not tentative, aggressive. I opened the door to find my mother wearing oversized sunglasses like a disgraced pop star, and behind her, Dad, looking like he hadn't slept since the chicken launch. No hello, no hug. We need to talk, she snapped, pushing her way in. Dad followed, sighing like he'd already given up. Tash stayed in the kitchen. She knew better. Mom stood dead center in the living room like she was about to stage an intervention. You ruined your sister's wedding. She ruined my marriage first, I said. Calm, almost bored. Don't be dramatic, she scoffed. It was just one message. One message that said, don't bring your wife. Silence. You humiliated her. In front of 200 people. There was a clown. Yes, she hissed. There was. And now she hasn't left her room in 24 hours. She might be traumatized, Dad added, like he was offering context at a crime scene. There are videos of it everywhere. Mom snapped. Oh, I've seen them, I said. People seem to really enjoy the chicken launch. Mom's eyes narrowed like knives. You think this is funny? No, I said. I think it's poetic. She lost it. You're a bitter, resentful little boy who can't stand to see his sister happy. I stood up, slowly. And you're a mother who trained her daughter to believe that love means control, and money means silence. Dad tried to step between us. That's enough. No, I said. We're just getting started. All my life, I paid quietly, because that's what you taught me. Shut up and be useful. Be the good one, the reliable one, the human wallet, the emotional sponge. I watched Mira bulldoze through every opportunity and land on cushions I paid for. I watched you smile through her cruelty and call it personality. And you know what? I'm done. Mom didn't scream, didn't cry. She turned, tight-lipped, and walked straight to the door. You're no longer part of this family. That's how my mom said goodbye, like she was ejecting me from a group project I never asked to join. She stormed out in her designer sunglasses like a celebrity leaving a scandal-ridden brunch. Dad lingered for half a second, eyes tired, hands limp. I didn't know about the message, he mumbled. But you didn't stop it either. He nodded, just once, and followed her out. Click, door shut, silence. By Monday, the clown cake video had 2.3 million views. By Tuesday, there were mashups, remixes, and anime edits. By Wednesday, BuzzFeed ran a headline. Bride gets clowned at her own wedding, literally. Mira nuked all her social media. Dev ghosted the honeymoon suite. Some said he moved in with his cousin. Others claimed he left the city entirely. I didn't care. For the first time in forever, I was sleeping. Dreamless, peaceful, quiet. Friday, the twist. I was out running errands, probably buying milk and paper towels and mentally composing new pasta recipes, when I got a call from Tash. Her voice was low, serious. Babe, you need to come home. Now. I broke every speed limit getting back. She was in the kitchen, robe still half on, holding a manila envelope. No return address, she said. It was hand-delivered. I opened it. One piece of paper. Bold black text. You thought you were the only one she used. Attached was a USB drive. I plugged it into my laptop. One folder. Inside, asterisk screenshots, asterisk bank transfers, asterisk text messages, asterisk voice notes. Between Mira and our cousin Jordan. My clown cake? Apparently, not the only performance she was starring in. Turns out Mira had 2 weddings planned. Asterisk the public one, Dev. Asterisk the secret one, Jordan. Jordan had been funding her real life for 6 months. Rent, gifts, trips. One invoice was for a private ring fitting. The last audio recording was the night before the wedding. Mira, don't worry, baby. This is just optics. I just need the ring for the prenup. Once I've got that, it's over. Jordan, you swear? Mira, you think I'd ever love someone like Dev? I sat back, staring at the screen. Tash looked at me, wide-eyed. Do we send this to Dev? I didn't answer at first. Then I smiled. No, we deliver it. With a bow. That night, I couldn't sleep, but not because I was restless. I was high on the calm. The kind of clarity you only get when the fog lifts and reveals exactly how deep the rot goes. She hadn't just used me. She used Jordan. She tried to marry Dev for his assets, while stringing our cousin along with promises of real love. She was a wedding built on scams. A scam built on family. By sunrise, I was in the kitchen brewing coffee. Tash came down in an oversized shirt, gave me a kiss, and squinted. You look terrifyingly calm. I feel fantastic. You're glowing, like a villain mid-monologue. I handed her the stack of printed screenshots. She flipped through 3 pages. Eyes wide. Oh my god. We're not mailing this. Nope, I said. We're delivering it. Dev wasn't at his apartment. But Brian, another cousin who somehow still speaks to me, said he'd seen Dev at the gym. We drove there. Found him pounding a heavy bag like it owed him child support. I called his name. He turned, sweaty, bloodshot, empty-eyed. He walked over like he expected a punch in the throat. If you came to gloat, he said, get in line. I didn't say a word, just handed him the red folder. He opened it, started skimming. Then reading. Then staring. Then, the photo. Mira, on Jordan's couch. Half a leg showing, wine glass in hand, smiling like a Bond villain mid-plot. Dev's hands shook. She told me she needed stability. No, I said, she needed funding. He sat on the bench, head in hands. She said I was the first man she ever trusted. She says that to every guy who signs the checks. He didn't cry, but his face cracked. She's a black hole, he whispered. She eats good things and spits out lies. I nodded. She almost got all of us. He looked at me. Thank you. We shook hands. No drama, just understanding. I walked out. That night, I shut off my phone. Tash and I made pasta. Opened the bottle of wine we'd been saving for a better year. We toasted the sky, laughed. Let the world burn without us. By morning, the clown cake video had passed 4 million views. Someone auto-tuned the clown's line. You ordered perfection / we brought the reflection. Into a song. It hit #1 on Spotify's top viral. Mira, vanished. Jordan, deleted everything. But the internet remembers. 4 days later, my parents tried again. A call. I didn't answer. Then an email. Whatever happened between you and Mira, you took it too far. You disgraced this family. I replied with one line. I didn't disgrace this family. I documented it. Then blocked them. Simple. Done. A week passed. Then a letter. No return address. Inside, a thank you card in Myra's handwriting. Crumpled, slanted, ugly. The words looked scraped out of her. You were always better than me. That's why I hated you. You never wanted anything. You just wanted peace. And we couldn't even give you that. You won. I hope it was worth it. I read it once, then again. Tash walked in, caught me holding it. Is that an apology? No, I said. It's a confession. But not the kind that heals anything. I didn't throw it away. I framed it, hung it in my office. Not out of pride, but as a reminder. Never again. It's been 2 months. Tash and I are flying to Portugal next week. Our first real vacation. No expectations. No fake RSVPs. No sisters begging for handouts. I changed my number. Deleted the family group chat. Started therapy. And something strange happened. People messaged me. Old classmates. Distant cousins. Even my ex-roommate from college. All of them saying the same thing. I wish I had the guts to do what you did. You were right to walk away. That clown cake? Iconic. It became more than a moment. It became a line in the sand. A quiet manifesto. No more. No more fake smiles. No more ATM therapy. No more carrying people who spit in your face the moment your wallet runs dry. Tash and I toast to it every Friday now. She lifts her glass and says, to Miss Perfect, and I raise mine and reply, long may she be off the throne.